And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed. And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this.
So Joe Biden, they're talking about health, hunger, nutrition, and health. And actually, this White House event was talking about the strides that they have made. He thanked several Congresspeople on this particular issue about bills that they had passed and things they had done. One particular Congressperson that he was thanking that he couldn't find, as you saw, he was asking for Jackie. Where's Jackie? I guess she's not here. He's talking about Representative Jackie Walorski, who we talked about last month on the show, or a couple months ago now. She died in a car accident along with members of her staff in that head-on collision, I believe it was in Indiana. But he apparently didn't know about this or had forgotten about it. We're gonna get to all of that because there's a little bit of proof of all this going back and forth, even thoughts from her family. But he didn't correct himself there. Maybe he didn't realize what had happened, or he just really thought she wasn't there. But White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she did have to answer for it. Probably the worst job in all of politics is being a press secretary and having to answer questions. So she was asked about why President Biden forgot that Congressman Walorski had passed away. Let's see what she had to say.
Final one. What happened in the hunger event today? The president appeared to look around the room for an audience member, a member of Congress who passed away last month. He seemed to indicate she might be in the room. What happened?
So the president was, as you all know, you guys were watching today's event, a very important event on food insecurity. The president was naming the congressional champions on this issue and was acknowledging her incredible work. So, of course, she was on his mind. She was of top of mind for the president. He very much looks forward to discussing her remarkable legacy of public service with them when he sees her family this coming Friday.
You said, Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? She must not be here.
No, I totally understand. I just explained she was on top of mind.
So I mean, this is the best, honestly, that you can come up with without saying what it is that actually happened. We don't have to go to to that next shot, you guys. I want to go to what? Oh, you want more of it? No, actually, no. There's more. It's actually it gets better. Because as you heard, the theme there, at least the approach of trying to explain this, is top of mind. That is definitely the theme here when it came to this press conference. Let's watch more of it.
And think that she's living and in the room.
I don't find that confusing. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. And again, he's going to see her family in just 2 days. And she was on top of mind. I mean, that is not an unusual scenario there.
Karine, I have John Lennon top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
These moments of confusion are happening with
apologize.
Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Americans are watching this and are having concerns. What do you say to that? This is a legitimate question. We need to have.
And chaos. So now the lines are drawn now, Ben. I'm curious where you fall on this, because there's more. I think a family member was talking about what happened, and also a little bit more illustrations of what the White House knew about her death. But first, your thoughts on this, because obviously the question is, did he forget? Did he not know that she had passed away? Is he having cognitive issues? Because we know that's where this is headed to next, which is why they're so careful around talking about top of mind.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, you got it right that the press secretary job is hard to have to answer questions for not your own actions, but have to always, you can never really admit a moment of weakness for the man you work for who's leading the free world, and any admission of weakness could move markets and make adversaries feel like we're vulnerable. It's a very scary moment, as the same reason it is scary to have a president who, it seems for some time now, clearly certainly has issues of cognitive decline. Each time that we see him speak clearly, you watch the 60 Minutes interview and you're like, wow, they figured out what supplements to give Biden, and he got good sleep, that he was able to be sharp for a whole interview. That's not great. You know, there's a joke in my stand-up act that says, whatever you think about Biden, you got to admit that every time he speaks, you're thinking one thing. You're thinking, land the sentence, buddy. Land this sentence, bring it home, which ironically is what he's thinking too. He's thinking, finish that sentence, Joe. Finish this sentence. It's not ideal. I think it's pretty clear he has issues. I mean, this was weird though, because he had prepared remarks.
Yeah.
And he still was messing it up, going a little ad libs. Even a sentence before that, he said, "I'd like to thank Representative Governor." I don't know what Representative Governor even means, let alone asking for where deceased lady is, who he had written a letter to.
Yep.
And
flash that up.
Yeah, it's not ideal. And probably a better response from the press secretary would have been ghosts. Her ghost could be in the room. He was checking for her ghosts, because
it's like, what's the best thing? What do you do? There's the statement that they put out where he said, Jill and I are saddened by the death of Congressman Jackie Walorski. So yeah, it was. That's
at least plausible. The ghost argument. I mean, it just proves how full of it politics can be. It would have been just better if they just said he was very sad about her death. He had a senior moment where he was thinking about her and obviously forgot for the moment that she had passed, and he's truly sorry. Because
you know what's actually plausible? Sorry to cut you off, Ben. You know what's plausible when you talk about what they could say, or gave me a thought. Yeah, he forgot. It's so fresh in his mind. It's such a new event. Sometimes we just forget that she's not here with us anymore. Because by the way, I forget stuff all the time.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah,
I had a very messed up moment. I forgot someone had passed away in my life, actually, and I'm cognitively pretty sharp. But sadly, there was a family friend whose son sadly had passed away. And then just a few months later, I was at my grandmother's funeral, and I was so sad and so bereaved that day that at the meal we all had afterwards, the parents of that kid were there and came over to offer condolences. And I said, "How's your son?" And I had forgotten, and in front of the parents, I had to have her say, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't intend, obviously, to do that. I didn't forget it long term." In the moment, I was just so shocked that my brain wasn't functioning great.
And I bet that kind of story isn't that uncommon. But again, we know the other things. So this is with a context of what we've seen from President Biden in the past.